Привет, guys. In today's video, we'll talk about the soft sign and the hard sign. Well, we have already talked about the soft sign. As you remember, the soft sign is technically a letter that does not produce any sound by itself, right? But it affects the consonants that it follows, all right? So it softens them, all right? Remember, we did the video where I was reading pretty much all the consonants with and without the soft sign. And you know that the soft sign softens consonants, okay? That's pretty much all it does, okay? But there's technically one more letter that we haven't talked about, and that's the hard sign, okay? Before we talk about the hard sign, let me show you real quick how they're different. So the soft sign is essentially just a lowercase b, right? That's how it looks. Don't write it like that, of course, right, or anything, but just like that, okay? This is a soft sign. Now the hard sign is spelled like this. It's very similar, except it has kind of a hat. So that's the hard sign, okay? So now you may be wondering what the hard sign is for, because if you remember, those of you who have been attentive may remember that I said that consonants are hard by default. So if you don't have anything that softens the consonant, it's not soft anyway, it's hard, right? For example, t, if it's not followed by either a soft sign or one of the softening vowels, which we also did a video on, right? Then it's just not going to be soft. So the only way to make, for example, t soft is to either add a soft sign or to add one of the softening vowels. What's the okay? All right, so we have five softening vowels. They're the four diphthongs: ya, you, ye, yo, right? And e, which is not a diphthong but also a softening vowel. And of course the soft sign. So pretty much the only way to make a consonant soft is by adding one of these right after, okay? So in other words, we don't have to add the hard sign to make it hard, because it's hard anyway, right? So why do we even need the hard sign? I'll tell you. Let me tell you that the hard sign is actually a very, very rare letter. Chances are, if you're taking a beginner's Russian course, you may not come across it in a long while. It's a pretty rare letter. Technically it exists, but it's very, very rare. But since we're learning the alphabet, and I want you to know all the ins and outs, all the peculiarities, all the nuances of the alphabet, I will tell you what we use it for. And to do that, I'll actually have to use the soft sign again. I'll have to explain it to you through the soft sign. Now, okay, so we said that the soft sign, for example, can soften a consonant, and a softening vowel can soften consonant. Now, what happens if we have both? And well, you can tell me, why would you put both of them in the word? And the truth is that I don't really choose what to put. The words already exist. They're already there. All we can do is, whenever we see a word, we read it. And I will tell you that you will actually see a soft sign followed by a diphthong, which is a softening vowel. Okay? Not uncommon. Not uncommon at all. So what do you do in that case? Do they cancel each other out because they're both softening? So does it mean the T is hard? No, doesn't really mean that. It's not math. But what happens is, and guys, if you get it, you'll be really proud of yourselves, and I'll be proud of you too. So here's what happens. If you have, you can never have the soft sign after a vowel. Okay, that's impossible because the soft sign can only follow a consonant. But you can have a vowel, usually a diphthong, follow the soft sign. Okay, and what happens here is now, let's see, the consonant gets softened by the soft sign, right? So in this case, the T is already soft thanks to the soft sign, right? So ya doesn't really have to soften it, right? Because otherwise, you know, if ya directly followed a consonant, for example, T in this case, right, th, then it would soften the T, but you remember it would kind of sacrifice its component, which is ya. Remember I told you when it directly follows a consonant, it kind of loses its well, subsound or component. So instead of saying tia or tia, right, we say tia. In this case, for example, right, tia, tia. Well, guess what? In this case, we don't have to. But ya doesn't have to soften the consonant, so it doesn't have to sacrifice anything. So ya does not get merged with anything, and it just remains a full-fledged diphthong. That's all that happens. So this syllable would be pronounced as soft t, and then the full-fledged ya, like this. Tia, tia, right? Soft t, ts, and ya, tia, tia. So let's actually look at the difference. Let me write these three syllables for you, and we'll pronounce them differently. And trust me, guys, all of these you'll actually see in some words. I'm not making this up. They're all possible. They all exist, and I want you to know how to read them if you see them. So this one, the T is hard because A is not a softening vowel. So you just read it regularly. Ta, ta. Right, here the T is soft because ya is a softening vowel, plus it's a diphthong. But in this case, ya is not a full-fledged diphthong because it kind of gives up its part to soften the T, right? So this one is again tia, tia. And here, again, ya is a full-fledged diphthong, but t is soft thanks to the soft sign. So this one is tia, tia. So let me pronounce them together, one by one. Ta, tia, tia. Okay? So let's do a couple more. Let's do these three. All right. So, okay. So this one is regular N. Nu, nu. Here it's a soft N. Nu, nu. Again, don't say new, but just new, because you kind of blend them in, right? And here you don't have to blend them in, so it's pronounced new, new. So again, nu, sorry, nu, new, new. All right? So you could kind of say that the soft sign in this case kind of separates the consonant from the diphthong while keeping the consonant soft. Okay, so it kind of relieves the diphthong of its necessity or obligation to soften the consonant. All right, I hope it makes sense. And now finally we can get to what the hard sign does. So the hard sign, pretty much the only case you can actually see a hard sign in is, again, in between a consonant and a diphthong. So, all right. And like I said, it's a fairly rare letter. It's so rare that sometimes even Russian speakers don't know to put it. They'll put the soft sign, they'll spell the word with a soft sign even though it's technically supposed to be spelled with a hard sign. And you can really tell, pronunciation-wise, they're practically indiscernible. They're practically impossible to tell apart. Okay, so, but pronunciation-wise, phonetically, in this case, since it's a hard sign, it keeps the consonant hard. Okay, while again keeping the diphthong undisturbed, so the diphthong remains a full-fledged diphthong, like in an open syllable. So in this syllable, the T would be hard, so it would sound like this: Tya, T-ya. Okay, Tya. So this one is very, very similar, except T is soft. So listen again: T, T, Tya, Tya, versus Tya, Tya. Okay, so once again, these four: Ta, Tya, Tya, Tya. All right, let's try these four. Okay, this one is Nu, Nyu, Nyu, Myu. In case you can't hear the difference between the last two, I don't blame you at all, guys. Seriously, they're very similar. But once again, the last two, this one's a soft N, Ny, Nyu, Nyu. This one's a hard N, Myu, Myu. Yeah, that's really about it. The last thing I want to do with you is I will pronounce a couple of syllables in each of these two rows, and you'll try to tell me which one I pronounced. Okay, so it's kind of like a game, a little test. All right, so start with these four. So tell me which one I'm pronouncing. Jia, jia, jia. You can pause the video if you need more time, but I'll reveal the answer right now. It is this one, Jia, Jia. Okay, let's try again. Still among these four. Which one am I pronouncing? Tia, Tia. And this one was the last one. Tia. Hard th and ya. So Tia. This one would have been Tia. Okay. All right, and let's do a couple from these four. All right. New, new, new. And drum roll. This was number 3. New, new. All right. And let's do one more. Nu, nu. And well, this one, of course, was the first one. Nu. Okay, hard N and no diphthong. All right, guys, I hope it's a little clearer now. I will see you in our next video. And until then, пока-пока and have a great week.